Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, Universal Mastery. Absolutely glad to have you here. Okay, so in our today's video, we are going to be speaking about how to unfuck your creativity. So if you're someone who is feeling like you are capping yourself off when it comes to your creative expression, or maybe you're finding yourself in a position where you are following other people and you are repeating patterns that they're doing, but it's not feeling authentic to who you are as a person. I, in my own experience, know what this feels like, and it's not a comfortable feeling. And this is something that we definitely want to look at and we want to understand so we can get you back into your authentic self and we can get you flowing again with your creative spark. Okay, so if you're someone who is feeling like your creative spark or your authentic expression has been capped off because you're not believing yourself or you're not trusting yourself to be creative, we are going to be going into depth with potentially why this is taking place and how you can start going down this path of reintegrating your authentic expression again, or reintegrating your creativity. All right, so if this is something that you are interested in, then I highly recommend that you stay tuned, and I will see you on the other side. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started here. So if you're someone who is struggling with your creativity, the first place that we want to start with this is we want to start with the reality that this is very common and this is very normal. So don't beat yourself up over this struggle that you're having, and don't add extra shame or guilt that isn't really necessary to have, because you're just a normal human being that is going through a creative block. So maybe you're some sort of an artist of some sort, maybe you do music, maybe you do paintings, maybe, you have some sort of taboo type of creative hobby of yours, or something that you're really passionate about that you take very seriously, and you're just noticing that you're getting to a point where you're not really sure what to do. And you're a little bit afraid of being all of who you are and sort of trusting your creative flow. So I think what happens for a lot of people is we can sometimes get warped into this collective consciousness of, in order to be creative, you have to be successful with what you're doing. So in other words, if I want to be an artist or if I want to be a content creator, I can use content creation as an example, because this is coming from my own personal life experience, as this is what I do largely for my creativity. You might think to yourself, okay, I am going to be creative and I'm going to tap into my own flow, or I'm going to tap into my own depths to do my artwork or to make my content creation. And I might make the art, I might make the video, and then I post it, and it doesn't necessarily perform the way that I wanted it to perform. Or I make the art and it doesn't get as much feedback as I really wanted to have on it. So then I start thinking to myself, is this something that other people enjoy? Is this something that other people appreciate? Is this even worth doing because I put a lot of time and energy into my artwork here, or I put a lot of time and energy into my creation? And then sometimes we can get warped into this idea that I have to do something very differently in order for my creativity to be successful. So what we're doing now is we're actually attaching a label of success to our creative expression, and we're starting to sort of disconnect from our core and being in the present moment and just bringing forward something that was from our unique expression or from our unique signature as the person and as the being that we are. So in other words, we're actually starting a process of disconnecting from our creative spark to now think, I need to do it this way instead so that I can get more reach or so that I can get more positive feedback. And this is something that so many of us can fall into, and there's nothing wrong with gauging the market or gauging, the people that are going to be consuming your artwork, and then, determining what people are looking for or what people want, but at what cost are you doing this? And then you're sacrificing your own creativity. So one of the keys that I've come to learn as a content creator who's been doing this for over 8 years now, posting very consistently, being very raw and authentic with what it is that I do, is I've gone through phases and I've gone through cycles where I've tried to kind of follow waves or follow trends of what other content creators are doing that are successful with what it is that they do. And it is very true. It's like when you approach it in that way, you can absolutely reach success. But for me and the type of person that I am, a lot of the times it doesn't feel authentic to who I am. So I might be able to make certain content and get a certain result and get more reach potentially. But if it's not feeling true to who I am and it doesn't feel authentic to me, then at what cost am I trying to get positive feedback at the cost of my authentic self? And I've done this before and I've actually experienced results from it. And then I've recognized, you know what? Even though I'm getting the results that I quote unquote wanted and I'm getting more reach, let's say with this video, if it didn't come from that creative space within myself and it was only for getting that reach or getting that positive feedback, then it doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel satisfying. And we can apply this to all other areas of creativity, whatever it is that you do, if you're an artist of any sort. So you want to ask yourself, are you following patterns of what everyone else is doing? Are you becoming the algorithm in that way where you're just repeating someone else who's repeating someone else who's repeating someone else? And yeah, I get it. We live in a society today where they say that's sometimes the best way to approach these things. You want to follow the people that do it right and repeat it. And that's true. There's so much truth to that. But then we also have to determine, is what these people are doing, is that actually authentic? Because sometimes there's waves of trends of people doing things in certain ways that isn't actually authentic. And if you were to get to the deeper core of what's going on within that person's psyche and what's going on within their body, they're not that happy. And they're probably seeking some sort of external validation. Or maybe they're seeking some sort of, positive feedback or having to build up this sense of self-identity from having more views or having more reach or having more positive feedback. And as I said, there's nothing wrong with views. There's nothing wrong with positive feedback. There's nothing wrong with getting attention for your art. These are beautiful things that will absolutely come to you in due time, when that time is right. I'm going to move this a little bit further. When that time is right, but what we do want to know is that we can't do this at the cost of our authenticity. And we cannot do this at the cost of our own self. Because this is one of the things that I've learned as a content creator is the most I've ever been happy and satisfied with what it is that I'm doing as a creator, and the more actual on the back end positive feedback that I get in regards to my business growing, working with clients, having deeper, meaningful connections with them. These things amplify and increase when I am being more authentic to myself and I'm releasing content that is coming from a creative space in me where I'm not necessarily just gauging only what are other people going to want to hear? What are other people going to want to know? So if I only approached my creation from what do you want to see? What do you want to hear? Then there's a lot more room where I could be tapping into something where I'm going to attract an audience that I'm always trying to please, that I'm always trying to bring the next best thing to. And then at that point, it becomes a drug. It becomes like a cycle. Not much different than, as I said, a drug addiction. So the most satisfied that I've actually been with this process is having a balance of both. So I have a gauge to understand, okay, what do you want to hear? What are the things that my audience is interested in? But then also, where am I in my process? What do I want to speak about? And this is the biggest thing, what do I feel like is most valuable? What do I feel like would be most authentic to bring to the forefront, to the collective right now, even if it's not going to get that much reach. Even if it's not the most trendy subject. What do I feel like is going to have the deepest impact? Do I feel like speaking about it? And then is there going to be some sort of interest towards it? And if I can have a balance of all these things and then I can make my content from that space, then I'm going to feel so much better about my creative, expression. Whereas if I just follow the next trends and I follow the next person who's doing it this way and you have to do it just like this and it has to be just like that, then I'm no different than a copy of that person. And that person's a copy of another person. And that person's a copy of a copy of a copy. And then we're just becoming this kind of like artificial energy of just repeating dopamine spike patterns that are not truly giving a deeper core message, because sometimes going to the deepest depths of your unconscious and your subconscious is where you can bring that deeper message to the collective consciousness. So when you are struggling with your creativity, I want you to ask yourself, are you struggling because you're looking for something outside of yourself? Are you seeking that external validation? Are you doing this because this is what feels truly right for you, or are you wanting some sort of result to come from it? I want you to really ask yourself. I want you to be willing to go into your deeper core and be a little bit more vulnerable and say, you know what? If this is something you're truly passionate about and you're a true artist, then you're going to be willing to show up with some of these most vulnerable parts of yourself, and you're going to bring that out. You're going to put that on paper. You're going to bring that to the screen here. You're going to put it in your lyrics. You're going to somehow put it in your music. You're going to do whatever it is with whatever creativity outlet that you have. You're going to bring it there. And you're going to know that that's the essence of creativity. It is authenticity. And just showing up and being a human, being authentic, being vulnerable, being who you are is the most powerful thing that you can do. When you get stuck in the cycle of now I have to be like this, or now I have to do it this way, or now I have to get this amount of response and I have to get this amount of feedback and I have to keep growing on it, now you're starting to disconnect from who you are, and you're going to start disconnecting from your authentic self, and then you're going to start losing your creativity. Now you're going to be looking to other people. What should I talk about? What should I speak about? What should I draw? What should I make music on? Rather than saying, where am I? What am I feeling? What do I feel like needs to come out? What do I feel like is going to be most valuable and potentially is very different from what anyone else is doing? How do you think people set new waves? How do you think people set new trends in everyday life? Not by copying other people. You become your own person and have your own creative expression, and you may bring something to the collective that's very taboo, that no one else really understands. And it might take time for that authentic expression to actually expand across the collective. But what's your intention as you're doing it? Your intention is eventually going to hit the collective. And when it does, that's going to permeate. You're going to create a new wave, and then people are going to look at you and they're going to be like, wow, thank you. You changed my life. This was so valuable and I didn't even understand it. I didn't even know about it. But now that you're speaking about it, I actually see it. I can understand it now. Now that you drew this thing, I can somehow I'm connecting with your artwork and it's changing my life. I don't even understand it. I want to just buy more. Okay, now I'm listening to your music and I'm noticing shifts inside of myself emotionally that are really important and they feel healthy. What's going on? I've never heard this type of music before. I've never heard this sound before. It's because you're not a copy of another person. All right, so if you're struggling with your creativity, just remember there may be these components that are attached to it. And don't judge yourself and shame yourself when you get in these creative blocks and when you find yourself in these cycles that I'm talking about. Because all it is it's a part of you that's trying to protect you from actually being more in tune with your vulnerability and bringing that vulnerability to your artwork. And as you start to give more time with yourself to understand these parts of you and to heal through emotional wounds and to be present with your trauma and to process it and show all these parts of you that you are a healthy parent for your whole system, the message that you're going to be communicating is over time going to improve drastically. And it's going to be grounded in a way that other people are naturally going to be attracted to because you're going to be leading from yourself. You're going to be leading from a core self state. All right, so this was the main essence of what it was that I wanted to communicate in today's video. If you're struggling with your creativity, take into account exactly what it is that I'm speaking about. See, this was a completely intuitive subject that I felt like talking about. I know that there's going to be people that will tune into this that needed to hear this message. So with that being said, we're going to wrap it up here. If you got value, slam the thumbs up button. Drop down into the comment section and let me know what you learned from this specifically. Let me know if you are struggling with your creativity. Let me know if this message hit you at the exact right time. That's one of the best feelings when I make this intuitive content and then someone types in the comment section, wow, this came at the exact time I needed to hear that. How did you know? Okay? It's tapping into that deeper unconscious collective. And that's another part about accessing your creative expression. You're tapping into the collective unconscious. So you're bringing things out from the collective that other people don't even see yet within themselves. And you get to bring light to that through your creativity. So hit the notification bell, get notified whenever I post. Make sure you are not missing out on that because I'm posting every single day at a minimum. Subscribe to the YouTube channel because by subscribing, you are further energetically connecting to everything it is that I am teaching here, and you're going to get more value from what it is that I am talking about. So make sure you subscribe. Okay. Now, if you know someone that also needs to hear this, I encourage you to copy and paste the link and send it to that person. All right. Now, make sure you check out the first link below. This is my Patreon. On my Patreon, I have an entire vault of exclusive content. I have content that goes into spirituality, occultism, self-development in regards to healing trauma, regulating the nervous system, doing shadow work. All of this very valuable stuff you are going to find on the Patreon, organized in a very structured fashion in different collection sections. I highly encourage you to check it out. There's over 1,580 plus active members. And if you really want to check it out without investing any money, you can sign up for free just to get a glimpse of what's going on the other side. Okay? Tier number 3 and 4 gives you access to something extremely unique. This is an actual ritualistic service that I perform on the 29th of every single month as an energetic transfer from me to you to support you through some of the deepest layers of working with your unconscious mind so that you can start becoming one with your shadow self. So that all these repressed energies inside of yourself can start really surfacing within your nervous system. You can start becoming more aware of your protective parts of you that are keeping you away from those emotions. And this allows you to integrate the shadow at a much deeper level. Now, through that process, you will be grounding more into the authentic self. Your resonance will be shifting over time, and that will have a change effect on everything around you. This could be very transformative. So this ritual is an initiation, energetically speaking, into what I call Universe B, which is the shadow dimension that we're all connected to, that a lot of people have a hard time accessing. But once you get in there, then you can start doing that deeper layered work. And I would be honored to be able to support you in the way that I can using my knowledge and experience with occultism. So if it's something you're interested in, make sure you look into it. Tier 3 and 4, first link below. We're going to leave it there. All right, so second link below, this is where you can book a one-on-one call with me, or you can jump directly into mentorships. This is going to be the most intimate and powerful way to personally connect and work with me. Okay, so if you want to go deeper with doing your trauma work, me and you together going through your trauma history, and then creating a foundation to help you regulate your nervous system and better work through that trauma. And then once that's in place, we could potentially get into a cult initiation as well. If this is something that sparks your interest or something that you really resonate with, I would be more than honored to work with you in that way. Okay, so all of that's in the second link below. Now, in the same second link below, you can book a tarot card reading with Alexia, and she is a very gifted tarot card reader that can help you understand what it is that you're currently going through, why you're going through it, what's going on inside of your body as well, on an internal level, and then what to expect as you move into your near future, internally and externally. So if you want to tap into getting this reading, I encourage you to do so, second link as well. Okay, and then the rest of the links, we have different services there. Third link is a course. Fourth link is the YouTube memberships. This is where you get to join the family. I would love to have you there. And then the fifth link is my book recommendations for you. So definitely make sure you consider those things. With that being said, we're going to wrap it up here. I hope you all have an amazing rest of the day or nights, wherever you are, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.